Candyman, at long last, finally premiered in theaters this past weekend after being delayed however many times because of COVID-19. And of course, nearly 3 decades after the events of the original Candyman film, a struggling Chicago painter finds his sanity slipping as he becomes more enamored with the horrors of the origin of Candyman. Film stars Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Teyonah Parris, and Colman Domingo. Directed and co-written by Nia DaCosta, and was also co-written and co-produced by the one and only Jordan Peele. And now, again, like something that I'm thinking of too, because anytime like a movie like got delayed however many times because of COVID-19, right? When it finally came out, like, you got to think, like, was this worth all the delays?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I was excited for this when I heard that Jordan Peele was attached to it. He's to me, he's a great director, great writer. He knows how to really psychologically go deep into characters. However, I did not love this movie, and I liked it, but I wanted to love it. That's the thing. I wanted to love it, but I didn't, and I couldn't. I thought Candyman, this 2021, I really enjoyed the beginning aspects of it, I didn't really fall in love with the characters, however. It's so odd to me because it's like they try to make it an effort for me to care about the characters, but at the same time, for me, I just couldn't. So when certain things happen to some of these characters, I was just like, okay, cool. Visually looks great, but just
visually,
character-wise,
polished,
visually, ooh. This movie, cinematography-wise, it is gorgeous. It is lyrical. It is poetic in certain ways, and I really do appreciate that. However, some of the characters, to me, didn't hit right. And at some points, to be honest, the tonality of the movie kind of shifted a bit drastically to the point where I was like, I know it's a drama, and it's definitely horror, but I think they put a little too, in certain aspects, there was a bit too much emphasis on certain comedic moments. I understand certain characters are meant to be the comedic relief, that sort of thing. But at the same time, I laughed more than I thought I should in a movie like Candyman, if that makes any sense. And so, again, I liked it. I didn't love it. I wanted to love it. I think that Nia DaCosta did a great job not as far as what she intended for this movie to be cinematography-wise, and even certain areas of character development. I think she did a pretty good job. Again, this is a movie I wanted to love, but I couldn't. For some reason, it also felt as if they're planning a sequel, but also not planning one, and I'm not entirely too sure how I wasn't sure about that
too. Yeah, that's something that felt like a little weird too. Like, I wasn't sure exactly what to make of the ending. Like the ending kind of made me feel like, like a mixed bag. But then I look back at the rest of the movie and I'm like, all right, this movie definitely has a lot going for it. Certain things I wish they did differently, but it definitely has a lot going for it. And again, one of the things that I went into this movie expecting and definitely got was just like a terrifying horror atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Like this movie, that knocked that aspect out of the park. Again, there are a lot of images in there where they really just pull no punches. Like, they're bloody, they're gruesome, they send a shiver down your spine. Just that entire atmosphere, like, it really did so well. Just the suspense too. Like, the suspense, both the suspense and the scares, neither one felt cheap. Like, the suspense, like, really just did a number on my nerves. Whether it was just like in, a scene that's supposed to be scary, or even just like certain, dialogue scenes, like that tension was really there. It was intoxicating. So between the fact that the scares really didn't feel cheap at all, like, this movie definitely knocked the horror movie aspect out of the park.
Exactly.
And I think overall, like, Nia DaCosta, terrific job directing. She did a really good job. The visuals are really gorgeous. Cinematography, makeup, even just the set pieces are all really great. I really felt like I was in contemporary Chicago, which at the same time made the horror feel that much more real.
Exactly.
Even performances across the board were solid too. I can't say acting wise it really was a weak note anywhere for sure. The biggest thing other than I guess I can kind of understand what you're saying about the character development too, as far as attachment to the characters. I think the biggest flaw for me in this movie was how heavy-handed the social commentary was, and this is another thing I walked out of the theater feeling too, or thinking about too. I'm like, I wasn't sure if the commentary felt like a genuine part of the story, or if it was just kind of shoehorned in there. Either way,
it's a general part of the story, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So. And then either way, it still felt like a bit much. Here's how they went about this. How they went about this. You know what this reminded me of? You ever know someone that texts you 9 different times in an hour just to see, and 8 of those messages are to see if you got that first message. I felt this movie was just texting me over and over and over again. Did you get my message about gentrification and police brutality? Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Are you sure? Did you get this message? That's kind of how it felt. It kind of felt like it was smashing me over the head with that with that kind of commentary.
Here's the thing with that. I know that the original Candyman, I think in general, especially with the first one, it tackles social issues. So I wasn't too upset about. I'm not going to be upset about that when that's in general. That's what Candyman is, and that's what the original story, the intentions were with that one too. However, to me, and this is where I was talking about how I couldn't connect with these characters, and so whatever happened to them, I honestly almost didn't care that much. If anything, I just cared about the horror aspect and how they're going to do the next kill, how they're going to do the peeling and this and that and the other. But I didn't really care about the characters, and this is where I was it felt very thematically heavy in certain areas that it just didn't need to. And this is where, to me, the third act kind of fell apart for me.
And here's the thing, too. Like you said, thematically it's definitely a bit heavy, but going back to what you're saying about the original Candyman film too, how that tackles certain social issues, there's nothing wrong with tackling certain social issues for sure, but I feel like there's a way to do it, and I feel like the original Candyman did that in a better way.
Yeah, like I said, it was closing to the end to where it started to feel like that. As you said, that did you get it? Did you get it? And I was just like, okay, oh boy, I don't know how I feel about this third act right now, because it was just, to me, it was a bit all over, not necessarily all over the place, but just certain revelations, as far as certain revelations just made me question, wait, what? I don't, This is an odd way to do it, but at the same time, like I said, it felt very thematically heavy. And again, this is a theme, in general, it is a theme-heavy movie. However, I did wish that they delved a bit more into some of the character aspects, because I do feel as if that's... Again, this is where I'm a bit mixed, because it's the beginning, I really enjoyed, I was getting it, and then closing to the end, I kind of tuned out a bit.
Yeah.
So... But yeah, like I said, I liked it. I didn't love it. I could definitely see where Jordan Peele kind of put his hands in, for sure. And I can, again, I think they had 2-3 different writers on it, and I think, again, writing wise, I really liked it, but because it was Jordan Peele, I was I was expecting to love it. That's the thing. And I did.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were too. Anytime Jordan Peele is attached to anything, you're expecting something really to stand out. And as far as this standing out, again, I don't know. I don't know how this definitely isn't gonna stand out more than obviously a Get Out or even Us. I thought Us was amazing. I liked Us even more than Get Out. I think I'm in that minority of people that actually liked Us more than Get Out. But again, I definitely understand too, as far as what you're saying, you could see this feels like something Jordan Peele was involved in, even if he didn't direct it. But again, even on the directing end of things, I looking at just what Nia DaCosta was able to do just from a directing point of view, she's obviously very, very talented. Very talented. And she's someone that I'm gonna be looking at, with the next few films to come.
Yeah, and it's the cinematography. My God, Yes, 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 yes. Which is why I'm like, oh, I liked it, but I wish I loved it. Again, I thought some of the pacing was, especially for something like the psychological horror, you have to nail that pacing. You have to nail some of the angles as well to really elevate those horror and suspenseful moments. And again, they absolutely did that. It was just for me, the character was kind of lacking in that department. And again, with Jordan Peele attached, I was like, man, I wanted to love it, but I walked about like it was all right. I liked it. I had a good time.
I did like it. I did like it overall. Even though, like I said, certain pacing issues could have been a bit better. Like there are, like looking back at this, like this movie was an hour and a half long, and there are times where it felt a bit longer. Yeah, it was about an hour and a half long, and there are times where it felt a bit longer, but it's weird because like it still kept my attention, you know?
Exactly.
So
for me again, it grabbed me in mainly on those horror suspenseful moments. Right. Throughout. Yeah. That's what nailed me. That's what drew me in. And I absolutely and on that alone it nailed it. Like you said before, and I really enjoyed it and that aspect of itself.
And even then, just before we, wrap this up too, another note that I want to make too, like as far as like, they definitely expanded like the mythology behind Candyman. Yep. That I thought was really cool. I loved what they did with that. That was awesome.
Yeah, I will say this to end this off too. This is a sequel I didn't expect. At the same time, I enjoyed that there was because it kind of did almost the ways I wanted a sequel to almost a movie or a game. A sequel in general is what I wanted it to do in general, which is expand a bit on the mythology and do a bit more, and I think they did that.
Yeah, same, exactly. That's pretty much what I wanted to, and then that's pretty much what we got. It's like, ironically enough, I don't think I saw the original Candyman movie until after this trailer came out. I'm like, all right, this looks nuts. I should probably watch the original. But yeah. So again, what did you guys think of, 2021's Candyman? Was it worth the multiple delays? And how does it compare to the 1992 original film? Leave your thoughts in the comment section wherever it is that you can. And just like that, we're done. Episode 25 is done. So don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to get all notifications whether you're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podchaser, and more, and follow our social media pages in that description. And tune in next Monday at 5 p.m. for our reviews of Disney Pixar's Dug Days, as well as Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. See you next time.